Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. And today, if you don't mind, I'd like to continue on with the wonderful viewer questions that you so very kindly submitted to this channel a few months back. So I am going through each of them, or as many as possible. So I want to thank all of you once again for your kind support and enthusiasm and guidance with respect to all things cinema. I always continue to be taught by you and to learn from you. You all are great. You set great examples for brilliant film enthusiasts. So thank you so much. And in that spirit, my friends, let us continue with these questions. The next question, or set of questions, I should say, is from Neon Nights. So Matt at Neon Nights. So thank you very much. And before I begin, I should say, Neon Nights, Matt, I don't know if you remember, but I certainly remember our conversations on this channel through the comment sections when this channel had just started during the early days. And we had, I thought they were really lovely talks about cinema. I think we'd mentioned some horror films. Lucio Fulci, for example, comes to mind. So I have not forgotten the wonderful enthusiasm from you, Neon Nights, and Matt at Neon Nights. So thank you so much for sticking around and for still being here. That's really lovely, and I just want to once again thank you, really thank you very much. Again, the early days of this channel, and so once again thank you so much, Neon Nights. And so you have a number of questions here. Let's see. Number one, have you seen the Picnic at Hanging Rock 2018 TV miniseries, and can you compare and contrast it to the 1975 movie? So unfortunately, I have not seen this TV series. I did hear about it, and I did see a trailer or so, I think around the time of its release, but unfortunately, I was not able to catch up with it. I am very curious as to what it turned out to be and how it turned out to be. I've read the novel many times, and I'm also a huge admirer of the film, the Peter Weir work. So, but unfortunately, I haven't seen the TV series. So. And then number two, I was lucky enough to see the 1990 remake of Night of the Living Dead in the theater when it originally came out. What are the greatest strengths, improvements in comparison to the original 1968 movie? I believe the greatest strengths are the complete overall character of Barbara, Tony Todd, the update in special effects, and then other points that you raise as well, Harry Cooper's character, etc., and how the film turns out. And then you continue, and you say, I believe the remake is a great movie, but it could have been made even better if Tom Savini wasn't restricted by financial and executive problems. Thanks for your great videos, Matt. So once again, Matt, thank you so much for this second question with regard to the 1990 version of Night of the Living Dead. So I haven't seen Night of the Living Dead, this 1990 version, in the theater, unfortunately. So I'm very jealous and quite impressed that you were able to catch up with it during the theater experience. I think for me, I really enjoy the 90 version, and I like the turns that it takes when compared to the original 1968 version. And in fact, I would say that for me, I think that a knowledge or baseline understanding of the 1968 version really helps when one watches the 90 version, because there is a lot of what's the phrase? There's a lot of a kind of connectivity between the two works. In particular, the 1990 version plays a lot of games in a very a witty and wonderful way. In certain scenes, as you know, we expect a certain scene to go one way or a certain character arc to go one way because that's what we know from the 68 version, the Romero version. But then it goes in a completely different direction to our, I think, great surprise. And it continues forward from there. And I think you point out some of the contrast points that maybe you have highlighted in your comment here with regard to certain characters and certain character arcs and how they eventually resolve such arcs, etc., which may or may not be in line with how the original played out similar character arcs. So I think that's part of the playful relationship between the 1968 version and the 1990 version. In other words, I think having a knowledge of the 68 version really makes watching the 90 version a lot of fun. It's so much fun, I think. And so if someone were to ask me which do I prefer or something, that's a very hard question because I think in that way they are slightly different works. I think ultimately I always go back to the original Night of the Living Dead. It's just so shocking and so overpowering. And there is a way in which it's seemingly a fundamental premise really turns into this shocking experience of chaos and destruction right before our very eyes, and it's really quite unsettling to witness this sudden chaotic destruction occur and this disintegration occur right before our very eyes over this relatively short amount of time. It's to me one of the all-time greats. But that doesn't take away from the brilliance of the 90 version. And I'm really happy to see you champion the 90 version and to support it the way that you do. Maybe I wouldn't go so far to use the word improvement necessarily, but I would say that I really appreciate the differences and what the 90 version is trying to do. You point out some of the characters, the Barbara character, for instance, the Harry Cooper character, for instance, the way that certain musical cues are used, in particular, a certain montage that might be relied upon towards the end, etc. And so I'm with you in terms of how those embellishments really make for a really fun and surprising time, that the 90 version of Night of the Living Dead. So I think it's possible to really appreciate and love and really love both versions at the same time. And of course, if one prefers, say, one version over the other, that's great. If one, say, really sticks with the 68 version and that is the be-all end-all, that's perfectly fine too. Again, there is plenty of room in the dead universe, as it were, the cinematic dead universe. There's plenty of room for a variety of opinions. So, but for you and your love and admiration for the Tom Savini 1990 work, I applaud you, my friend. I applaud you. That is really well done. So, thank you very much for that. And Neonites, once again, thank you. And I look forward to our continuing conversations, and I hope there are many to come. That's for sure. So, and for anyone else who is interested in the questions posed by Matt at Neon Nights, please feel free to let us know in the comments section below. As always, my friends, I am very much curious to hear what it is you have to say. Okay, so that's it for now, and so until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well, and please keep on watching a lot of great movies. Thank you so much, as always, for your time. I very, very much appreciate it. Stay strong, stay safe, and cheers.